Katie Edge. Hi, Katie.
Hi.
And let's talk a little bit about the current market. Okay, so right now, the market is a little slow. Okay, it is slow. It's still a good market. It's always a good time to sell. Right now in San Antonio, we're approaching that 79 days on market, which is actually still pretty normal, pretty good. But what I'm noticing is that some houses still sell within a week or two, and some houses are still taking 180 days, sometimes a year to sell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So what is the difference between two homes, one that sells quickly and one that is just dragging out? What is your opinion? What have you seen when an agent comes to you and says, Katie, I've had this property, it's been sitting on the market for over 100 days. We've had 2 showings.
Well, I think number one, in any market, price solves all, right? So with the right price, you can sell any property.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times homeowners are leaving money on the table because right now it's definitely a buyer's market.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're not doing the things to fight for the few buyers that you have out there looking for properties, they're going to take your property off the list. So if your property is old, it's dated, it looks worn, simple things like a fresh coat of paint and some worn carpets can be like, no, why would I get that house when I can get the one that's updated for a good price?
Right.
So buyers are definitely willing to pay more for move-in ready, and I've seen that in my business. And so I worked with you actually on properties in the past that you've sold, where you said, hey, Katie, right now, I know that I can sell this property as is for X. But if we do these things, I know I can sell it for more.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've done those repairs and it's been effective, right? And so what I always tell my clients when they're considering doing renovations on a property, you have to look at it as an investment, just like I'm an investor, right?
Okay.
So every dollar I spend, I want to get back that dollar and I want to make some more. So my goal for my clients is always, how can we spend $1 and get back 2 or more? And I work in conjunction with the agent to make that happen.
Right, exactly. And that's what I've been telling my sellers. I've been telling my sellers that right now it is more expensive to buy a home.
Totally.
Right.
Yeah.
And so the cost of getting into a home costs more. So a buyer's going to look at, okay, I have to, put a down payment, interest rates. This is what it's going to cost me a month. And I have to do repairs and upgrades.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really hard for buyers right now to swallow. So I tell my sellers, your property needs to be move-in ready.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be completely updated,
No,
right? It doesn't have to,
sure.
right? It doesn't have to have, the latest, HGTV kind of look to it. But you don't want to give buyers the impression when they walk in that, oh, I got work to do, or how much is this going to cost me? So you want to, eliminate those factors that are going to hinder a buyer from wanting to just submit an offer, right? So we want people to come through the door and we want them to submit an offer. So let's say I have a seller and they have an adorable home and they've lived there for 10 to 20 years and nothing's broken. Okay. Everything is in great condition.
Ooh.
Those are the homes that I love. Everything's in great condition. But when I'm looking at the comps, I notice that it has Formica countertops, has carpet throughout.
Yep.
Has the vanities are 3 feet tall in the bathroom, and everything could be original, but all in good condition.
Yes.
What would you recommend?
So those are my favorite houses. And actually we're sitting in one of those houses because when we got this house was in incredible condition. It had brand new windows. It had a brand new roof. The HVAC was great. The mechanicals were great. We did have to rewire it, but overall the property was in good condition. And so if you have a property that's well maintained, it's really it's inexpensive to put a nice facelift on it. We say Botox for your house. And so if you do the right things like focusing on your kitchen, right? Maybe you paint your kitchen cabinets, you put in some new hardware, you change your lighting, you put in new countertops, you give it a little dress up, it helps to make old feel new, and it eliminates those objections that a lot of buyers are going to have with like, and it just looks like it did when it was built in 1980. And it gets you, the first showing happens online, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the photos matter. So when they're scrolling through, they're like, well, I want to go look at this house. And it helps get you more traffic, and it helps that property to sell in about a third of the time.
Mm-hmm.
You said average days on market right now is around 80.
Mm-hmm.
Average days on market for us is about 30.
Yeah.
So and a lot of people, I think, have the misconception that, well, I don't have time to do renovation.
Right.
But if you do light and easy things, our average renovation, for example, is 2 to 3 weeks.
Fine.
Then you can get that property on the market contract and put more money in your pocket and save time. It's a win-win.
Yeah. Fantastic. That sounds fantastic. Now, if you had to concentrate, I say, on 3 or 4 things, what would it be?
Paint neutralization is number one. So I think a lot of times, especially in San Antonio, we're a very vibrant city. People enjoy different colors, different tastes. And not everybody likes white walls, but what white walls do is it provides a blank slate, right? So that if you like blue walls and I like pink walls, at least we can see our own style if we have a blank canvas, right?
True. Mm-hmm.
But if we personalize too much, we're going to lose the people that don't like that color. So I've had a client tell me once before that they were shopping for houses and they saw one they really liked, but it had peach walls. And they said, "Can't buy the peach house, Katie." And I was like, "Well, you can paint the walls."
They even named it the peach house.
Totally.
Like they couldn't see past the peach.
90% of people can't.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So you have to help them to see the potential.
Okay.
And if not, you're just going to get lowball offers.
Yeah.
So I tell people all the time, don't leave the money on the table. So number 1 is paint. Number 2 would be if you have some nasty carpets, get that changed out. And then kitchens or houses. So if you really want to give it sex appeal, focus on the kitchen.
Okay.
We've had some incredible successes with properties where we did the kitchen and we left pretty much everything else alone. Mm-hmm. And people, if you give them fall in love factor in a space like that, they can forget about the fact that they have to update their master bath or do some things outside, right? Mm-hmm. Sex appeal is what gets people.
Yeah. And it's just, you brought up carpet.
Yep.
I think when we have animals in the house.
Oh yeah, girl. I have animals.
We become nose blind to the smell. Yep. And I don't like bringing that up to sellers. I think it's mean when it sounds like, your house stinks. Yep. You don't want to say that. Delicate conversation. That's why I have an expert like you to come in and be, and just tell the sellers, hey, I think it's a good idea if we, swap out the carpet. Because it when you come in and you smell a home, and it has that odor. What I see from buyers is, how on earth am I going to get that smell out?
Absolutely.
And so all they're thinking about is ductwork cleaning, carpet cleaning, removal, and then that's it. They just don't want to submit an offer. So carpet is huge. Now, another thing that you brought up was doing the kitchen. And it kind of reminded me of couple of properties that we've done together for my clients. Mm-hmm. So the first one was Booth. Yeah. Do you remember Booth? Not far from here. 5 minutes from this house. Yeah, 5 minutes from this house. Adorable home. It was from the early 1980s. Yep. It was built. Again, a home that everything was in great condition, but nothing was updated at all. And instead of knocking down and putting in brand new cabinets and just gutting the place, all you did was put granite.
Yep. With a 4-inch lip.
Yep. And then you painted the cabinets.
Yep. Same original cabinets. Mm-hmm. I didn't even change the hardware, I just spray painted them black.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, and she had done so many other good things. I think we put an epoxy in the bathroom and we painted it very simple. Mm-hmm. Because the 2 things I always tell my clients are, you have to look at the numbers, you have to look at the neighborhood. And that wasn't a fancy neighborhood.
Right.
It was a pretty plain Jane. But we knew that a level 1 granite with a 4-inch lip would be a superior upgrade, which would help give it some sex appeal. And it worked because that house contracted in 2 days.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I think it was within the weekend. And the average days on market for that neighborhood, because remember, even, San Antonio has their days on market, but each neighborhood has their own days on market. The average days on market for that neighborhood was 186 days.
Yep.
And we got it done within that weekend. So that was fantastic. And that was like I would say like a lower price home, right? Lower price bracket, not a fancy house. And then we had one that we did in Helotes, Scotford.
Yep.
And that one was I think one of my favorite transformations because it was a good house, a good,
beautiful neighborhood.
Early 2000s home, right? So it still wasn't dated, right? It still had, your normal, cabinets and things like that. But the house was green.
Sure was. hunter green solidstone counters.
Yeah.
But what was interesting about that neighborhood is everybody had solidstone counters.
Yeah.
And so you didn't want to over improve because you have to look at the numbers, you have to look at the neighborhood. What does the neighborhood call for? Wasn't a fancy neighborhood. So we were going to leave those counters and make them work.
Yeah.
So we painted everything else. And we also had to make sure we stayed within the budget. And you gave me the numbers. Here's what the property's worth as is. Here's what it could be worth. So I said painting is really the thing. And one of the things I remember about that house is we didn't want to paint everything because all the ceilings had already been painted. Softer tan was the color. Very hot, circa 1990. Yeah, not so hot anymore. But it was neutral enough to where we were able to paint just the walls because this was a very colorful property. I think one room was painted blue, one was painted gray, one has like a maroon color. We just had a lot of vibrancy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Teal, I believe, was the color of the kitchen. Yeah. And so we just neutralized, and because we didn't have to paint all the ceilings, we were able to save the client cost. But we took that color, that softer tan, and we brought it into the walls.
Yeah.
And then we were able to paint the cabinets in the kitchen and the master bath, and the paint alone, I believe you got a contract on in 5 days.
Yeah, that one's quick. Yeah, that one was quick too. So, yeah, so all these, just paint goes a long way.
Does
flooring and kitchen. Just if you have a small budget or you don't have time to do a whole lot, or you just don't want to renovate, I would say focus on those things. That really brings in buyers, that motivates buyers, that gets them excited to purchase the home. So that's just really important. So anything else, Katie? Anything else you want to mention to sellers out there on what they should do to get ready for the market?
I think just making sure that the home is clean, that it's presented well. Staging is very important. I will tell you that properties that, let's say you don't have a big budget, because it takes money to do renovations, right? And not every client wants to go deep into their pockets. So if we can do the key elements that are important, and then you have a nice stage afterwards with a clean home, I think the complement of those together can really do wonders.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so I highly encourage, whether you're here in San Antonio, Bernie, Fair Oaks, you can give the Graves Group a call.
Yeah.
But if you're elsewhere, I highly recommend interview your agent, see if they offer staging services, see if, make sure that they use professional photography, make sure they have a good team on their side to help recommend contractors and designers and people that can really, really make your home shine and get your home sold.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Katie. And thank you, everybody. Bye.